friends. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia of A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer. Today, we'll be having a rebroadcast, but as always, we'll see you next time. This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.
All right, Houston, here we are with another tip from Gilbert Andrew Garcia. I'm ready. I don't know about you, Houston, but I am ready. And the reason I'm ready is because I have Mr. Jarvis Johnson here, again, our state representative. And you know what? He's fired up.
Not like you, though. I forgot to get my 5-hour energy, brother.
I will tell you, and of course, I have my sidekick Ruby Dang. She will laugh on contact on cue for me. No, I'm really fired up because I really think, Representative, that the other day on the special election, and we're going to go through it all, that it was a pretty interesting wake-up call, I think, for a lot of people, especially a lot of supporters of ours.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a good thing. So just remind us all what happened. So there was an election. Let's educate the listeners again that because the mayor won for mayor, that his term had to be finished, which goes till January or so. And then there was the regular election that is going to be this November, and there's a runoff, which is going to be here on the 28th.
Yep.
I mean, my God, Houston, if you can say that 3 times fast, you are damn good. I don't know. Can I say damn, Ruby?
I think you can.
I don't know.
With your energy today, yeah.
Well, I better not do it again. So go through all that for us, Representative.
You've already pointed it out. You broke it down really good. The only problem is it's just not a quick explanation to this. So at the end of the day, yes, there was a primary race that was going to take place regardless. And that primary race was happening on March. That's the same time that the presidential election was, congressional elections, a lot of different things that were going on at that time. So then, I, along with 5 other people, were in the race for Senate District 15. I came out the top vote getter in the primary. But then they squoze this. Is that a right word? Is that a word? Squoze. Then they squoze this.
It squozes today.
then they put between the primary and the runoff. They put this special election, and the special election was just to fulfill the remaining time of what Senator Whitmire had left on the table, which was until the end of 2024, and then now we're all ready to go for the runoff from the primary. Yes, a lot of people were confused. Family, friends, colleagues, everyone was confused. People that you would think would know what the process is literally were like, okay, you lost? Oh man. I was like, no, that was just for the special. That was not, it wasn't a loss.
That's just for 6 months.
That's not a loss. It's nothing that we were focused on. Although we were in the race, we were not focused on it. My opponent sent out 8 different mailers, spent over $350,000. I was just constantly trying to keep the voters engaged because I do know there is voter fatigue out there. People are sick and tired of being called, emailed, getting mail in their mailboxes. And so you don't want to overwhelm them, although everybody got to get out to vote.
I want to talk about the mail piece in a second, but put me and Ruby Dang in that category because we think we're educated, we think we know things, but you know what? I was confused.
Yes,
weren't you confused?
I was.
I mean, it's like, holy cow. It's just like every time we turn around, there's an election. But you know what? It's important, Houston, no matter how many elections there are, You got to go pray, vote in all of them. You know why? There are people like Representative Jarvis Johnson who's working really hard. And remember, these representatives are there allocating your tax dollars, and they're prioritizing it on whether to spend it on, health care, whether schools or not. And that's why we've got to vote, and we got to make our voices heard. I think we already have a caller. Who is that? Is there a Jesse on?
Yes, sir.
Jesse, how are you there, pal?
Too blessed to be stretched, Gilbert. And I just want to call early and wish you a happy birthday. And I will go vote for your birthday.
Well, that's kind of you, Jesse, but you're one day early. My birthday's tomorrow.
Oh,
and are you ready for this?
All
Houston,
right.
I'm going to be 61.
Wow.
It's like, where the hell did that go?
Time flies.
Jesse, where did 61 go?
I don't know. A lot of hard work, a lot of hard tears, Gilbert. But, you're a man that really helps the community a lot, gets the word out. And thank you again. And you don't have a show tomorrow. That's why I called today.
Well, that's so kind of you. Jesse, what can we do? There are a lot of Latinos in the district, Representative Johnson's district, that are for the Senate district that he's running for. How can we get the Latino community to vote? Because, it just seems that we're always talking about we got to get it in, but the Hispanic community, we just have not been able to get them to vote. What are your thoughts, pal?
We have to make it a tradition. We don't have it as a tradition like going to church or a barbecue quinceañera or whatever. We need to make it more of a tradition in our lifestyle. That's one thing we have to do. And number 3, we have to take it more seriously by the buddy system. We have to take 1 or 2 people or 3 people out to vote personally and drag them with us to go vote. That's the only way to make it happen. And then to follow up with phone calls, Gilbert, we have to be more aggressive and make phone calls to let people know to go vote and check them out.
I think that's good. So 1, the buddy system. 2, make it a habit. For those of you who are parents, take your little ones to go vote so they already realize, God, I got to do this. What a big deal it is. And they can look at the screens, take a buddy. And, of course, I really like that last one. Get on the phone calls and call some of your neighbors and friends. Mm-hmm. At least your co-workers and family, right, Ruby?
That's right.
I mean, how many? You're from the Munoz family, right? Yep. How many Munozes are there? I mean, it's like the Munozes. Yep. There's the Rodriguezes. There's the Gracie Sines family.
That's right.
There's like these families, they're huge. Just call your family.
Yep. I know. I think too, if you realize that, when you vote, you're making a change. And if you don't participate and yet you're out there complaining, then who's at fault? You.
That's right.
For not exercising your right to vote.
My mom said, if you don't vote, don't complain.
Exactly.
Jesse, thank you for calling in, pal. And please call in again.
And the last thing I want to say, Gilbert, sometimes we have to intimidate them, embarrass them. Like I said, don't be a tonto. Vote pronto.
Don't be a tonto.
Tonto.
Yeah. Don't be. You got to vote pronto, early. There you go. Thank you, Jess. So, Representative. Yes, sir. I want to. Thank you, Jesse. I want to go. I don't know. We probably can't zoom in on this, but I happen to have gotten about I don't know, 7 or 8 Molly Cook emails. I'm not emails. Mail outs in my community, and they're very professional, right? They're very professional. A lot of them are fold out. Some of them are just a 1-pager, that type of thing. And I just want to ask you here. So it says here, a note on Molly's opponent. Have you seen this one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So this is a note on you. It says here, Jarvis Johnson has caved to extremists too many times. Now, Ruby, all you got to do, and maybe it's just because, I'm a little Latino guy, but all I know is when I look at him, can you imagine this man caving into anybody?
No.
I mean, can you imagine anyone intimidating Jarvis Johnson?
No.
I mean, really. I mean, can you imagine? Oh, he's gonna cave in.
Right.
I mean, that's just not even possible. But let's go back to this. It says here, is funded by the same MAGA Trump donors who are pushing Greg Abbott's school voucher program. Now, what does that mean? I mean, first of all, there's a lot of donors that are out there doing all kinds of things, and I guess she went through every single donor and maybe found one or something. But at the end of the day, I bet you nobody till this race has ever accused you of being a MAGA Republican. I mean, do you just think to yourself, what is, I mean, it's like an alternative universe.
Yeah. Well, at the end of the day, man, we're in politics, and now my opponent has turned it into politics. You sit here and you play games with words and you try to deceive the voters, and then you want to be very critical of your opponent's record when you don't have a record. And so, my record is open for anybody to see. And politics is a contact sport, and it's chess. It's not checkers. It's a strategy. It's planning. And so my opponent has simply done what I believe that Donald Trump and the right-wing MAGA Republicans have done, being very divisive within their own party, lie on their own colleagues, just to simply scare our voting base into coming out and voting. And, and we do know that politics has become, it was boring. And then here comes Trump, and he made it exciting, and he's cursing all the time, and he's, saying some of the most outlandish things. And that moved the needle for a lot of people. And I think my opponent has recognized that to be her, out-of-state consultants that have given her well over $250,000 are the ones that are pushing this narrative to say, go say this and go say that. Because if you say this, then this will happen. 62% of the voters through data that we've collected will likely change their vote if you tell them that your opponent is MAGA, or if they accept dark money, or if they are pro NRA. So say this, and it's left up to them to try to dispel the lie, but we're just going to put it out there. And then they try to take, the votes that I have, and then they dissect them all the way down. One particular vote, and when it comes to the NRA, my opponent said, Johnson has sided with the NRA. When I have a F rating from the NRA.
F as in failure, as in the like in school, A, B, C, D, F? F. And yet she's saying that you're an NRA person. Yeah.
And so there is a what we call the Marshall Plan in the state of Texas that was put in place back in 2013. Predates me. I was not a state representative at the time, but it allows teachers, and it's a per district kind of plan that if the district wants to do it, they can do it. We don't have that here in Houston, in Harris County. It's more like the rural communities where they don't have extra police force, so they go and tell the teachers you can carry a gun. So one of the bills that on that particular bill, I put an amendment that would have to have a lockbox in the main administrative building, so that's where the gun would go instead of on the teacher's person.
That sounds like a good thing to me.
So all I did was, the law was already in place. We were not going to change the law, because Republicans wanted it. That's one of their they want guns in schools. So, I found a way to come up with a compromise that would be suitable for them, that would also help them gain, so they don't look so horrible, especially after Uvalde shootings. And I was like, it's common sense. Teachers don't need to carry guns. They need to be trained to teach children, not to protect classrooms. So let's put this lockbox in the administrative office, take the gun off the teacher's hip, put it there. So then she says, oh, he put guns in teachers' hands. You see, I'm trying to make it better. See, this is the problem. This is why people get so turned off of politics, when people lie about the opponent. Instead of just, look, let's just go mano a mano. Let's just go hand to hand, your record versus my record. I don't lie on you. You don't lie on me. You don't deceive voters. I don't deceive voters. Because at the end of the day, I believe in standing on my own record. I can stand on my record every day, all day, and be proud of it. Where my opponent doesn't have a record to stand on, so therefore she's being critical of mine and trying to tell everybody, well, Jarvis Johnson is doing this and doing that. Second thing, and I know you had some other questions, but second thing is, she says that I did not vote to help women's reproductive rights. I missed key votes, right? She kept telling me he missed key votes. She's pulling up stuff from 2021 when we, as a Democratic body, all left the state of Texas to break quorum.
Is that where she's getting
to
that?
break quorum? Because when you look, it's 2021.
I'm going to get that whole
It's 2021. We broke quorum. I, along with many of my colleagues, we worked together collectively because we realized that the Republican Party was not listening to us, and they were putting some of the most restrictive voting laws in place in the entire country. And I mean, we were talking to the point where we looked like a third world country or a dictatorship. And so we had to break quorum. And we all left. And so she's pulling that from that. And well, he missed key votes. No, we were not missing, because the Republicans were putting things on because they knew this is what their people were going to say, because the Republicans were trying to use it too in some of these swing districts.
Right.
They were trying to use that same logic and terminology and saying, well, they missed key votes. So she's playing right into the Republican hands, being deceitful when, and I will tell you this, every day and twice on Sunday, if I need to break quorum to protect voting rights, or if I need to protect Texas citizens, I'll do that.
Amen. Listen to that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that is phenomenal. Hold that thought, because I want to come back to that. I know we got to call. Is there a Dominic there?
Yes.
Dominic, what do you got?
Okay.
I see. Well, hold on. I see Mr. D'Souza. Oh, go back. He said something to Jarvis. What did he say? Oh, keep up the great work. There you go. Go ahead. Keep going. What do you got there, Dominic?
Okay. My concern, Gil, and I've texted you about this, and I've met you in your office about this. We as voters over the years have voted to put money into things. For instance, we voted statewide to put money to restore the Battleship Texas. We voted countywide for a flood control plan. We voted citywide to have a similar thing with Renew Houston with our roads and flooding. We might have this problem with Metro Next. My thing is, if the voters, the people who go to the polls, like myself, you, everybody, if we say we want said money to go to this project, it goes to that project. It's a lockbox, and the only way it can change is one of three things. Number one, there's a sunset on the project. Number two is it's ruled unconstitutional for some odd reason. Or number three, it's sent back to the voters for redo. My thing is, if we vote on something, the people in power should go by it. Also, too, our mayor, okay, he got our flood money for a thing. That's a good thing. But now he's trying to slow down both Proposition A and Proposition B. If we, why should we vote if people in power are trying their best to undo it? And I think that needs to be looked at. And lastly, Gil, my parents took me to vote, and guess what? I became your wingman, and I'm involved in politics. So I think that's more than just getting people to vote. That shows children that they can be involved in the process. Back to you, Gil. Thank you.
Amen. On those propositions, I just noticed it's very curious, Ruby and Representative. So they went all this time to go to HGAC and this and that, and to get our better representation. They just let in the Woodlands. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought the whole thing was to not let more in so Houston could have a better representation, and they just let in the Woodlands.
Yeah.
I don't know, Houston. We got to make sure we're not being duped, because, it's all about these sorts of things. I just want to clarify the record here one more time. I got to get my doggone camera thing. You got to type it in and put your eyes on it and all that kind of thing now. So we're funded by the same MAGA Trump donors who push the Greg Abbott school voucher program. So first of all, the teachers unions probably are the ones that are the most against school vouchers. Is that right?
Absolutely.
Who they endorsed?
Jarvis Johnson.
There you go. I mean, it's like, that makes no sense.
Yeah.
I mean, why in the world would they be supporting Jarvis Johnson if he was all about MAGA money and vouchers?
Right.
It makes no sense.
Right. And I'm the only candidate that has voted against vouchers. My opponent has not voted against vouchers. She has not had an opportunity to
She hasn't voted for anything.
She hasn't voted for anything. And so yet to be able to come to me and tell me that I am pro-voucher. See, again, this is what upsets voters because they're trying to get accurate information. They're trying to get true information. Stick to your platform. I don't go looking at Molly Cook. I don't go find out from her job because now I'm a public official. Right. So I can't go to her job and say, well, let me see her work evaluation. Yeah. Let me see her attendance records. Let me see how many people got sick under her care. How many people died while she was on duty? Can I put the deaths of those people while you were on duty on your record? Yeah. And see, this is the games that she's playing, which again turns people off. Now, it is done for a purpose. Just the same way Donald Trump has a very rabid voting base of supporters that they don't, and he said it, I can go shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square and I won't lose no voter. That's the same philosophy that I believe that this young lady has. She just simply wants to engage, then enrage her voting base. And it doesn't matter. I'll allow my opponent. I'll do whatever I need to do. But I just want my voters to come to the polls because if you vote for Jarvis Johnson, you're going to die. Yeah. Or he's going to do some crazy, salacious things. And this is why you need me, even though she doesn't have experience, even though she's never worked one day in the Capitol, even though she's never even staffed anyone, even though she has stood in the way of billions of dollars coming into this region for flood mitigation, even though she stood in the way and brags about standing in the way of billions of dollars that would have mitigated traffic, even though she stood in the way of almost $300 million in affordable housing for people of color, that she's bragging on that and still saying, but I want you to vote for me because Jarvis Johnson is NRA, MAGA, and pro-voucher, and he doesn't care about women's reproductive rights. So it's easy just to say something, but she can't back it up. And when she tries to back it up, she tries to misrepresent the truth because you'll say, here are the facts. And then there's nothing there that you can look up that says that's not a fact. What you did was you took, so SB 1, which is the overall budget for the bill for the budget for the entire state of Texas, has all these bills in there. Right. All the bills are in this one. Yeah. And that's the main bill we vote for. Typically you will vote for the budget. I didn't vote for the budget this last time because they did not put teacher pay raises in there. But every other time I voted for the budget. So she took the one time that I voted for the budget and says, oh, he voted for, because she said that if I voted for the budget, then that means I voted for every bill that's in the budget. And you can pull my record and see those are not bills that I voted
That's just goes to show you again that she's not been there. She's not been there.
Yeah. I will say this. That's the difference between governing and campaigning. I'm governing. I'm passing bills. I'm talking facts. I'm talking about issues that are important to the voters. I'm not here trying to be salacious. I'm not here trying to have clickbait. I'm not here to demean or deceive voters and voting records. So that's the difference. That's why it's so very important to have an experienced lawmaker versus somebody who just simply says, I have a great idea. You would never allow somebody to come to you and says, you know what, Gilbert? I got a great idea.
And I'm going to hire you right now
on how to make more money.
I'm just going to hire you.
Invest into the market. And you go, that is a good idea. Where have you done? No, I ain't never did this before. But I got a good idea.
And I promise it can work.
I promise you.
I promise you.
If all you need to do is give me, $10 million, and I'm gonna invest it in the market, and I'm gonna make you a trillion. Yeah. And you're going, but you've never done this before. Never. Nope. Never done it before, but it's a good idea. Yeah. What would you do?
I'd say, see you later.
Yeah.
See you later.
Good idea, man.
It's like don't even waste my time.
Don't come. At the end of the day, go get your experience. If you want a job, I'll give you a job just to make your way up. Be an intern, but you don't go from being a college student right into, on the stock market floor with millions of dollars at your hands.
Well, let me go to the next one. Has missed over 1,000 votes in the House, including to protect medication abortion access. So let's think about that for a second. Boy, that was a tongue twister. Abortion access. So who are the people that are, talk to me.
I don't know. She says I missed 1,000 votes, but she can't show me the 1,000 votes.
Yeah, that's
show them to me.
That just means like I missed every vote.
So you telling me I missed 1,000? Tell me where they are.
Yeah.
Tell me where those votes are.
Yeah.
And don't include in that all of the votes that we took when we were in DC. Don't include
clearly that's what that is.
And you know what? Let me be honest with you. I can call my staff and I can call, and I said, when I saw that, I said, hey, go look. They was like, do you know how much work that is? You know how many pages and pages that we have
all
to
for
go
nothing
through to find out how many votes that you missed? Because there may be, we have votes that while we're on the floor, it's like, oh, I'm trying to run to the other side because I'm talking to her. So you go back and then you go to the clerk's office and you go, I missed that vote. Let me put my vote in. So there is no way. That's just pulling some number out of your.
Yep. I know what that means, toot. I got it. Hold that thought. Let's go back to number. Jocelyn, I just saw you and I saw what you did. What you put out there. I just need to have you back on the show. Let's go back to, who was that? Chris? Yeah. Jacqueline, I'm sorry. I said it wrong. Jacqueline, I see that. I appreciate that.
Okay, one moment. Okay, yes.
Wait.
Charlotte, I see you. Thank you for that vote there. Go ahead. What do we got? Was there a Chris on the line?
Yeah, Chris.
Chris, are you there?
This is Chris. Chris Dang, how are you doing? Also, a happy early birthday. I didn't know your birthday was coming up. You don't look over 30.
Well, man, boy, I'm going to have to just record that so I can just play it for my wife when I get home. And she's going to go, yeah. Chris, what do you got for me, pal?
Yeah, sorry. I called in a bit earlier. You guys have kind of gone off the topic now, but you guys were talking about voting, and I just wanted to, being a younger person in college, I kind of just wanted to remind everyone how easy it is for someone to vote at our age. I remember going up to vote for the first time when you were a mayoral candidate, and I was just shocked at how easy it was to get registered and go out and vote. So I just wanted to remind everyone, especially younger people, that it is so much easier for us to go out and vote. I guarantee you there's a voting booth for every local and state election on your college campus, and just to remind you to go out and do that.
That's great. Was I like your first vote?
Yes, you were.
Oh, how exciting. Well, let me ask you this. Forgetting that it was me for a second, how did you feel after you vote? Did you feel good that you were participating? Didn't you feel like I did something? I did my civic duty. Didn't it make you feel good?
Absolutely. It's my city. It's where I live. It's where I grew up. And I think, it's kind of my duty to go out there and vote. And I felt absolutely amazing after, saying, kind of using my voice, my vote, to hopefully enact some change in the city so much.
Well,
Absolutely.
Chris, we appreciate you, man. And thank you for voting. And thank you for saying to make sure young people vote. Are you a millennial or I don't even know what is it called now when you're like really young? You're not a millennial. You're like a Generation X or
Z.
Z? Are you a Z?
I believe I'm a Z. I'm 20, so I don't know if anyone out there knows.
All I know is who makes up these things. The people with too much time on their hands.
Yeah.
Thank you, Chris, for calling in.
Because how did they skip Y?
Yeah,
I know I'm a Gen X.
Are you Gen X?
Yeah, because you may be.
I'm a boomer. I'm a boomer. I'm the end of the
You're
boomer.
just 60.
I'm 60. That's right.
So you're a boomer.
Yes, sir.
Well, then they went boomer, Gen X.
Yeah.
Then I was like, "Where's Y?"
Yeah.
And then there's Z.
Yeah.
And then went millennials. So
Yeah.
then you had Gen X, then millennials, and then now you got. I'm like, man,
Yeah.
Who comes up with all this? I want to come up to another thing here. And by the way, I supported Wally last time. And I want to talk about that because I supported her. I had great hope for her and all that. And, look, she's smart. I supported her, gave her money, all those sorts of things. And you know what? She just like forgot my name or something. I just was kicked to the curve, just cooked to the curve. And it just didn't feel good.
Yep.
It just didn't feel good. And that's why I was just looking at this race again. And I thought to myself, well, what are people doing? And I didn't really know you that well. And I just thought, what are people really doing? And when I see this sort of advertising, it bothers me. It just bothers me. So let's go back. There's not one on here, but the one about standing in the way of, some of the progress on the freeway and expansion. Talk a little bit about that, because that's important.
Well, she brags about, she stopped the I-45 project. And she generally says that she was helping the Black and the brown community. Now, first of all, I live on I-45. My business is on I-45. And don't invoke my history about freeways coming into my community or through my community that have taken away our voting base and our power base and everything else. So you don't know. So don't pretend like you do. And I don't need no savior. My community don't need no savior. At the end of the day, what we do need is flood mitigation. And you stop flood mitigation, because if you're ever on 45 in Tidwell, you know that if somebody drops a bucket of water over there, it's going to flood. It just the other day, while we were looking at flooding in the burbs and in the outskirts of, right there on Tidwell was, just flooded water. And when we look at traffic, everybody knows 45 is the devil himself. 45
it doesn't move. It doesn't move.
Devil.
Yeah, it just doesn't move.
And one of the most dangerous freeways in the region. And so to sit here and tell me you're bragging on stopping it, that means you stop progress. That means you stop jobs. That means you stop the ability to have affordable housing made available for the people that wanted to be bought out, which was the majority of the people that were on that freeway. And it was like, yeah, come buy us out. I don't want to live on this freeway no more anyway.
That's right.
It's here and I don't like it. So yeah, buy me out. And so you pass it up. And then on top of that, because she and her little cronies and this team of people that are pretending to protect this area cost an additional $3 billion in fines.
Wow.
Because we held up $9 billion that the federal government was giving us in infrastructure, flood mitigation, traffic mitigation, and housing. And so she held that up. And so now we're sitting here going, we had fines of almost $3 billion. Wow. So this is the type of person that that wants to run for office, because she does not understand governance. She understands what it means to get people excited and get people enraged by saying the government shouldn't be doing It don't work that way, because the government is the government. Republicans, we live in a Republican-led House, a Republican-led Senate. Every state office in this state is led by Republicans. You ain't gonna win.
That's right.
You can sit here and dig in all day long, but you better find a way. Now, unless we are willing, which I have oftentimes advocated for, we got to be willing to storm Capitol sometimes. We got to be willing to stand in the way of certain things. But when you talk about standing in the way of progress that will benefit Democrats and people of color, poor people, people that are traveling to and from the city to the now you're just being an obstructionist. You got to stand for something.
I've never been an elected official, but it seems to me my number one job is to make the lives of my citizens that I represent better.
Yep.
And how can you do that if no one will work with you, no one will talk to you, you can't get anything done, you can't get any bills through, and you can't create any laws? How are you going to do that?
And we've been trying to do. I was on city council from 2006 to 2012. And the fact is that we've been trying to expand 45 since that time. There was the idea we're going to make it a, kind of
I know what you're talking about.
Level and down, kind of like they got over in Austin when you see on 35. So, we've been talking about this forever, but every time there's somebody who comes in and says, no, this is a bad idea. And they hold up the progress. This city is growing exponentially and expeditiously. It is growing. People are moving from all over to come to Houston. If our freeways cannot take the flow of traffic, can't take that many people, you have to expand. It's like using your house, all of a sudden, which is you, and then you got 4 more families move in with you.
Yeah.
That's more water. That's more
right.
stuff in your system. So things you have to prepare for that. We have to be prepared. We have to be great legislators that understand the process and not just simply say, I want to stand in the way.
Hold that thought. We got another caller. Who is that? Is there a Linda? Linda,
Yes, there is.
Linda, you have me, Gilbert Garcia, with a tip from Gilbert with candidate for Texas Senate, Jarvis Johnson, and my good sidekick, Ruby Dang. What do you got for us, Linda?
Well, I certainly called last week and told you, but I wasn't on the air about. I thought I was changed out of legislators thing out of his district because he wasn't on, and I thought it was a plot of the Republicans, not leaving anything behind him. But of course, he was my city councilman in 2006. I cannot begin to tell people. There is a clarion call. Go out and vote.
Amen.
But know what you're voting for. You cannot put in a junior congressman with so much at stake because I was told at the Voices for Public Education that he took money from the lobby, from the charter school lobby. Well, name me 3 Black families or Hispanic families that don't have their children in public school.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Right on.
Name me that.
Mm.
Also, tell me who it is, since the district contains Independent Heights, Acres Home, and there's another Black community. Don't press me on it. I know you said you're a baby boomer, but I got 24 years on you. Okay? And name me your largest black population of voters who have been stomping to his proms, and he's never forgotten them. He's always in as a representative who wants to say, oh, we don't know enough. We need to put in somebody we need to put in young blood to lead us. Like we got to put in a Bwana to lead the natives out of the jungle. Tell me who it is. It just doesn't make it. I cannot list, I cannot categorize, I cannot capsulize all the things that you have done in your political life. There are going to be things that we can nitpick over anybody and say, he said this or she said that. What they have to do is look at the entire picture, know what is the crux of what we're going for. We would be taking out someone who is experienced and who knows where the bodies are buried, and putting in someone who doesn't even have who doesn't even watch the weather report to know whether there's going to be a storm.
I like that.
And I love you very much. Councilman, I'm still back to you being councilman.
Right.
I'm supposed to go over to your office. Give me the address on Westheimer. They cleaned my stuff for Mother's Day and I can't find it. I've got to do call-in.
It's 2425 West Loop South. 2425 West Loop South.
Okay, I know where that is.
Yeah.
That's near a car, rental car. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Linda, thank you for
Thank
calling.
you. And yes, as you do. And by the way, just because something passes, as he said, we really need to teach history. So before you want to tell me, the history needs to be taught. White people need to know white people history. People, you want to know a government program that did for people that weren't with the flood, the people in in those areas that spilled a cup of water and everything was held up at the general land office. Just because the money was sent down here doesn't mean that you got a Republican Congress, you got a general land office commissioner who even his uncle and his aunt, before they went to their grave, talked about him and wouldn't vote for him. What is this?
Yeah.
We've got to be better prepared and more informed than just buzzwords on our vote for politics. Thank you so much.
Linda, Miss Linda, thank you for that. And you know what? I need to wish you a happy Mother's Day. That's for doggone sure. We appreciate you for all those words. On that note, you know, she mentioned the whole thing about the land commissioner and so forth. Well, what a great thing that the mayor with the new land commissioner, Don Buckingham,
Mhm.
together with HUD and President Biden, got an extension on that money. That's what's called bipartisan, working for the better of the community.
Do you know why that happened?
Tell us.
Relationship.
Yes.
There you go.
There you go.
Don Buckingham and Senator Whitmire
Yep.
worked together for a number of years, and they had a relationship. They had, while they may have been opposite philosophically on certain things, they have had that dialogue to build that trust, to say that we can work together and we want to see success, because not everybody wants to fail Harris County that are Republicans, although we do know the governor wants to do that because it's a Democratic-led area. So, but that's what it's all about. We're in session 140 days every 2 years. And so in that first session, when you don't have relationship, when you don't know people, when you may just know them peripherally, but you know them by name, they know you by name, but that's it. That's not a relationship that you can build upon. Right. And it takes a while. For me, well, how'd you do it? Well, I was a city council member before I was a state legislator. And before I was a city council member, I was a staffer on city council. So I staffed, and so I knew, and I was involved in the process since I was 12 years old, 9 years old, as my mother worked for the late Congressman Mickey Leland. So politics is there for me, but more importantly, I have the relationships. Most of the Senate right now are from former state representatives that left from the House and went over to the Senate. We have relationships already. She mentioned something about charter. Let me bring that up, because I believe that more people than not have this thing and think that charters are private schools. People say, I took charter money. Sure, I took a donation from an entity that believed in my platform. They said, we believe in your platform. My opponent, who talks about all this, he took charter money, she herself screened with the Charter Association.
So whoa, let me get this right. So you both screened. Mm-hmm. They pick you because your experience and all that. They didn't pick her, so now she's thrown a stone because you took that money.
And now she's demonizing them and saying, my God, they're MAGA and they have dark money. And number one, Texas does not have dark money. Let's clear that lie up. The fact that they supported me is now they're mean and bad. It's kind of like when we were in middle school and you tried to talk to the little pretty girl. Yeah. And you say, hi, can we go to the dance? And she's like, no. And then you go, she was ugly and bad. That's literally what she's doing. And now she's trying to make out like these people are bad. When I know, in fact, that she incessantly called those people to push them to get the endorsement. But because she didn't, then she demonized them, and now she's pushing, he took charter money. Number two, because somebody donated to my campaign does not make me their yes man. Yep. Does not make me their boy. Does not make me just a simple arbitrary, I'm gonna just support you. That's just not it. And then number three, for those who want to keep talking about charters are a public entity where parents and children willingly go. They have found an alternative to the traditional public schools, but charters have been around since 1995, which were made legal in this state of Texas, and all charters are public charter schools. There are no private charter schools. While there are some rules that charters we probably need to change in order to put them more in line with traditional public, but at the end of the day, please don't make out like charters are bad. The reason why the only vote that I cast for charter in the last session was to give them school zones.
Well, doesn't that sound like a good thing?
So currently, charters cannot have school zones because cities won't permit them.
So you can just drive as fast as you want.
When you're thinking about, we got rules, speed limits on streets anyway, but you know how that goes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. If it's a 35 is pretty quick when you're passing in front of an elementary school with children crossing streets.
Oh, yeah.
And so it simply was a school zone. And now you have all of these people who talk about being pro-education, then be pro-children.
Amen.
I was pro-child This had nothing to do with charter. It had nothing to do with traditional public. This had everything to do with protecting children. I insisted that they have a school zone that literally slowed cars down so they can put the flashing lights so that cars knew to slow down, because the number, and just look it up, the number of students that have been hit that go to charter schools. And there was a teacher that was killed that was a teacher at a charter school. And I refuse to abide or bow down to anyone who says that they are for public education, but just not that public education. See, that is the divisive nature that people are trying to use charter schools to pit us against one another. Charter schools did not stop the governor from giving teachers a pay raise. Charter schools did not stop the TEA from creating or banning books. Charter schools did not create this nature by which Mike Miles and TEA Marath are literally taking money away from these school districts. That's not the problem. And then for those, and I'll end with this, and then for those who want to keep talking, well, charter schools are so harmful to inner city schools. Well, let's look at it. Let's look at it. And then again, I'm not here defending charter, but I'm putting things in perspective so people can understand. If you got a problem thinking that charter schools are stealing your children from your traditional schools, let's look at it. More children transfer from Wheatley to go to other public schools, Bel Air, Lamar, other magnet programs. If Wheatley is zoned for 1,800 students and only 800 go there, 1,000 is going someplace else. Now, those children who are transferring from Wheatley are not going to charter. You know why they're not going to charter? Because they still want to play football. They still want to be in a band. They still want to play on the basketball team. They still want to, so they still want those activities. But it's just, I don't like this school. And so I want to go to another school. That's the problem. So if you can't blame charter for that, but at the end of the day, I have over 10,000 students from my district that go to charter school, and I will not turn my back on them. If you're asking that we need to put more things in place to hold charters more accountable, absolutely. But when it comes to education, they are still bound by the same rules and regulations as traditional public schools. They can't teach nothing different. They can't, you still got to pass these standardized tests. There's nothing no different.
Amen. We got another caller already. Mauricio, are you there? Mauricio.
Yes, sir. How are you?
Good. What do you got there for us on a tip from Gilbert today with Representative Jarvis Johnson?
Well, first of all, happy early birthday for you. Feliz cumpleaños, Gilbert.
Well, thank you.
You've been a good friend always, and you are doing great things for the community.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
And let me tell you something, and for all the listeners and viewers, I had the opportunity to work with the State Representative Jarvis Johnson in the past in Austin. I helped him to win 2 elections in a row, and he is a guy that works for people. I am witness firsthand that he works for the people. He listens. He's very humble, and he's been doing a lot of things in the District 139. And I believe and I think for all the Hispanics and voters, they are in the district, in the Senate District 15, they need to vote for Jarvis Johnson. He's the right person for the job. He's very knowledgeable. And also, like he said before, you cannot have a person that have a really good ideas to come and handle millions of dollars. You need to have the right person. They has the experience. They have been working at that level, and that person is Jarvis Johnson.
Amen. Boy, that's a good one.
Hey, man, I need you to do a commercial.
That's a good one.
Appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
Well, Mauricio, we thank you, and thank you for calling in. I'm hugging you on the phone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir. Charlene Johnson. Charlene, are you there?
Charlene? Yes, I can hear you.
Is Charlene there?
Yeah, she's there.
Charlene, are you there? Charlene.
Yeah. She's there.
Charlene, are you there? Speak to me. Gilbert Garcia here.
Yes. Hi, Gilbert.
You
How
got
are
me.
Mr. Johnson?
How are you
This is
doing?
Charlene. I'm good. I'm good. Getting excited, trying to get people out to vote.
And what are you hearing out there? By the way, I've got Jarvis here, Jarvis Johnson, representative, and Ruby Dang.
Yes.
What are you hearing out there?
I'm hearing a lot of great things about the Johnsons. I'm Charlene Ward Johnson, and I'm the candidate for State Rep District 139. And experience does matter. We need someone who understands the issues, who are aware of the issues in this district, not somebody that has to come in, learn the issues, learn the procedures. Day one, we got to be ready to fight.
Now, you got the Chronicle endorsement, right?
Yes, I sure
Oh,
did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, tell us. I mean, was that a surprise? I mean, you screened, and did you feel good? Or tell us about that.
Yes, I did. Well, I just talked about my experience of being on the board of Houston Community College, being on the board of the U of H Alumni Foundation Board. I'm an education advocate. I stood with the teachers when they protested the takeover. I stood right next to Representative Johnson. I saw him there and all the other teachers unions. We stood with them to prevent or to fight the takeover of HISD. It's being dismantled. So being a parent, I understand how important education is, and I believe public funding should stay with public schools. So I am against the school voucher plan. I am, and that's what they said. I am against it. It ain't no discussion. It ain't no, let's see what's going on. I'm against it.
Well, let me ask you, what is I want to give you one more airtime here. Where's your website? Where do people go if they want to volunteer for you? And what are the two biggest things, issues there in the district?
electcharlene.com. You can go to electcharlene.com to sign up to volunteer. We only have early voting starts on May 20th, which is Monday. So we only have 7 days left. We don't have that many days left.
Wow, that's fast.
Starts. Yes. So the biggest issues are our public schools. Better schools make better communities. Infrastructure. We have flood mitigation, and some areas have to fight for cleaner water. So we want to have cleaner water in all of Houston as well. We want to protect our seniors and our retirees. And we also want to be able to have strong to protect our communities with stricter gun laws.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for calling in, and we wish you great success.
Thank you so much. Remember Charlene Ward Johnson for State Rep 139, early voting May 20th.
Got it. How can we forget that?
So that people are not confused, no, we are not running against each other. She's running for 139, which is the seat that I am vacating. And now I'm running for Senate District 15. So Charlene Johnson and I are very supportive of one another.
Right. Very supportive of each other.
Charlene, thank you so much for calling. So, Representative, did you have to give up the seat then to run for Senate?
Well, I can't run again for the seat. Yeah, so I'm still the representative until the end of the year. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, you had to give up the seat.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Well, then we're all in.
Yep. All in.
We're all in.
All in. And let me say this: I didn't get into the race for a promotion or anything like that, because this is not a promotion. It's still the same money. I got into the race because I realized the people that were in the race would be representing me as my senator. And I know how hard it is to get bills from the House over to the Senate and having somebody pick your bills up. And I realized then that, wow, this is going to be difficult. John Whitmire has taken 40 years of experience with it.
Right.
He's taking the knowledge and how to move bills. And none of the people that were in the race with me had that type of experience. All good people. But none had the experience and did not think that they would have the knowledge to be able to do so. So I chose to get in the race. I didn't run from the fight. I could have stayed comfortably in my 139 seat and would not have had an opponent. But I chose to represent this district. This is not a promotion. This is not an elevation in status or anything. It's literally the same. I got the same responsibility, the same money, and with more constituents. So I chose to be what I would consider, that's what leaders do. They run to the fight and not be comfortable in the positions that they're in. And so that's why I chose to run.
Amen.
It's still $600 a month.
And you know what? And that $600 is now only worth $500.
No, it's literally after taxes and your insurance is like $240 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, it's 13 cents an hour if you break it down.
I want to, and that's without doing all your constituent work.
That's right.
I want to do this one more because I'm just going back to this mailer because this mailer and all these mailers have just, troubled me. Of course, we talked about it already, but I want to say it. Voted with the NRA 5 times. Now, I don't know. Are there like 500 NRA bills? I mean, I don't know what that means, but 5 times, and supported a bill to encourage teachers to bring guns into their classrooms.
Yeah,
so that's the whole thing about the lockbox.
Yeah, the martial law was in place in 2013.
You weren't even there.
I wasn't even there. So how did I encourage that? But I did amend the law. And so now you're taking the amendment of the law and trying to say that I voted for it. The Uvalde families. I'm the chair of Homeland Security. I'm the chair of I'm a vice chair of Homeland Security and the vice chair of Public Safety. We deal with those laws. Homeland Security deals with the border. Public Safety deals with gun control. I work with 2 of my colleagues that I had great relationships with, and I convinced them, along with the Uvalde families, to vote with us during the committee hearing to bring a bill to the floor that would raise the age on the purchase of assault type weaponry, And the reason why is because when those families came to my office and I met with them and I could see the pain, I could see the hurt, but the stories is what really got me, because one family said they they couldn't identify their children except for the clothes that they wore.
Oh, come on.
The clothes that they wore. And so when you're telling me somebody went into a school and blew a child's head off, and for my opponent to sit here and have the audacity to lie on me and say that I voted with the NRA is the most absurd and angering thing that I can deal with, because I dealt with those families. I felt their pain and I feel their pain today. She's a person who had never had a child. She does not have a child. And that's not nothing bad. And I'm getting upset because at the end of the day, I looked at my son and I looked at my daughter and knew if something like that would have happened, I know good God well I would have lost my mind. But those families from Uvalde were there to try to push legislators to do something. And the Republicans refused. And I got on the House floor, the only representative on either side, and got on the House floor, and it went viral, whatever. But and I said, y'all care more about protecting guns than you do protecting children. And Brent Cross is Uzi's father, who was one of those kids that could not be identified. I keep his card on my desk because to remind me, and so I have a problem when people want to campaign and want a lot of voters, but she can't stand and look me in the eye and make that assessment in that lie. But there's unfortunately a group of people that were going to listen to that stuff. No, I didn't. I ain't never voted for no NRA. I don't play that. We all got guns. But I don't believe that people with mental illness should have them. I don't believe that children should have them. And I'd be doggone if I'm going to protect anybody who wants to have 10,000 guns and 1 million rounds of ammunition. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
There's some excessiveness that we're looking at here. And not every weapon needs to be for consumption, for residential or commercial consumption. Nah, we shouldn't do that. But I apologize, brother.
No.
But it just upsets me, man. When I get to these points, we're trying to do the work, and people like this would outright and flat out lie and try to use deceitful tactics to misrepresent my voting record and the things that I do. If anything, that's what we have to do in a Republican-led body. We have to amend bills that we know are going to pass. See, if you want to amend the bill to mitigate some of the damage that it's going to do to your community, you try to amend the bill. And if you are successful in amending a bill, which I have been very successful at doing, and when I say what I say, I mean it. They ain't got to worry about, well, what did he mean? My colleagues know. But when I do that, that's why they'll let me amend the bills. And if you amend the bill, then of course you got to vote for the bill.
That's right. And what you're really doing is softening them.
Exactly.
You're making it something that you can live with. You want to know? We have 1 minute, and let me just say something. Just listening to you, you just got my vote, pal.
Thank you, brother.
I mean it. That's what we need. Bold, but smart. Because being bold, but not smart isn't going to do any good. But being bold and smart and being able to work with people, get stuff done.
Amen.
And that's what Jarvis Johnson does. He gets stuff done.
Thank you, brother.
So I think, I don't know what that says there, but it says something. But at the end of the days.
The dates for the election.
Oh, the election dates. Yes. I'm being told by my studio audience. Don't forget, early vote starts May 20th through the 24th.
Yep. And election day is May 28th. It is the day after Memorial Day. I do know everybody's going to be full and have a bunch of bars, but you got to go back to work. But I would promise you this.
Houston, go early vote. It's everywhere. Early vote, early vote, early vote. It's everywhere. This is Gilbert Garcia saying we'll see you next time.
This is Gilbert Andrew Garcia. Listen to my radio show, A Tip from Gilbert. Talk, inspiration, and prayer every Monday from 11 a.m. till noon on Houston's gospel leader, KWWJ. 1360 AM and streaming live on kwwj.org. Listen on the legendary KYOK 1140 AM and streaming live on kyokradio.org. KCOH 1230 AM, The Source. On San Geek Radio 95.1 FM 1460 AM. And Aliento Radio 101.7 FM and 1540 AM. Call in at 832-570-8075 and follow me on social media. See you then.